I agree with the movement for health.
Health is wealth, you know?
Correct, the true wealth. But I do think that it's not necessary to be that way, because I feel that it, for everyone, I don't think it works. I tried to be a vegetarian. The closest, my body just did not. I gave it a year.
So what motivated you to try?
I think abuse of regular things, just being sloppy, you know, and then trying it made me quicker in mind, but in body, I could not. I felt very weak, and I guess maybe the conversion just didn't work for me.
Did you do it with advice? Because most people don't. They just make a change. See, I'm a nutritionist, so that's what I do. I help people. So a lot of people change their diet without any proper advice, and they will lose energy or they'll lose strength, but as long as you have a really good balanced diet, whether it's vegan or not, you shouldn't be losing those things.
Okay, what happened is I then went to being pescatarian. I guess that's what it's called. It's not a religion, is it? Yeah. But the fish thing, the Japanese kind of diet was the best. I'm kind of close to that now.
So that worked.
Where I don't eat a lot of red meat because of the digestion of it.
It sits in your
yeah, it just sits and rots. It's carrion, you know.
Yeah.
And so that is probably the best diet I've had.
Okay.
And most things are brown, not white. Salt, sugar, rice, all of that. It gives me a lot of strength. I haven't lost any strength. I'm 56. I hope that the vegan movement stays, but does not force itself upon people. Like a lot of people in metro areas or whatever, they tend to be very almost straight edge, you know, about it. Like, you shouldn't be eating that. You can't force that on people. I don't think that that's fair.
So it's the reason I'm here.
Okay. I'm so healthy.
Well, I'm doing this as a kind of atonement.
Atonement.
Atonement. I used to work in this industry. I was a slaughterman.
Oh, the
I was a butcher, and I ran a farm. So my background is from that side, and I have suffered as a consequence, mentally, spiritually, through my health. It's okay, don't worry about it.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like I've got to give back, because sometimes I close my eyes at night and I can't sleep because I can hear the screaming of the pigs. Or
wow.
That's how traumatic it is, and I don't feel like I can sit quietly to invite people in. If they want to chat with me, that's great. So I like your approach. That's why I find you an interesting chap to talk to.
Oh, thank you, brother.
So I invite people in, and then that enriches me as well, because we can look at things differently.
Yeah, and they get information that's real. Like, then when they make a decision, they have the freedom to make a full choice.
Exactly.
Not just some oppressed.
But the reason I'm by a church doing it is because I'm also a man of faith. I call myself a Christian. I don't go to church as such, but I still call myself a Christian. So,
why?
Because I've had a God experience, I think you could call it. I was an alcoholic. I had a violent lifestyle, and I had a God experience, and it just changed my life along with going vegan. And I feel like I don't see as much when I meet guys like these are Christians, these are also vegans. I see far more fruits of the Holy Spirit. So a Christian will tell you they believe in the fruits of the Spirit, which are love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Those are the fruits of the Spirit. I see those abundant in Christians and non-Christians, but especially in vegans. And so when I meet people who show the fruits of the Spirit, I want to show that to Christians and say, this is what you should be doing as a Christian. You should be exhibiting the fruits of the Spirit. That's what you're about.
You could be.
Well, I think
never say should. Should is a demand.
Okay, well, I think they should.
Okay.
But that's because I think if you claim to represent those things that I just listed, it's entirely consistent with a kind way of approaching the world and not consistent with an unkind way. Because if I showed footage, for example, of an animal being killed, and said to you, would that represent heaven or hell to you? And I'm talking slaughterhouse, I'm not talking about hunting, shooting.
Okay.
Slaughterhouse.
There's no mercy there.
There's no mercy, and there's no humane.
It's
death.
all greed.
Yeah.
It's non-productive, actually. But I wonder how the first landing of the Dutch and the English Christians saw these, what they might have termed savages, as the Inuits, the Aboriginal Inuits of that land, who were kind, who were noble, who understood their place in the scheme of things, but did not call themselves Christian. I have a difficulty with the oxymoron of the church and of the understanding of and use of their canons and doctrines. It seems somewhat hypocritical that the Christian pantheon has not been fully understood or applied. I find glances of it, but let's think about most of the wars that have been caused by friction of belief. And that is rather strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't...
I'm more of a Zen Buddhist or Taoist.
Okay.
I kind of flow with the Eastern school of spiritual advancement, shadow work, all these things.
I think we're all on a path, and that chimes with Taoism. We're all on a path, and it should be a peaceful path and one of love, and that's why I agree with you when you say the history of the church is steeped in violence and suppression
and sacrifice.
And sacrifice.
You even sacrificed your main symbol.
Yeah, I mean that.
What was that about?
Well, I think that I
corporate takeover.
I could talk about that all day.
It was theater, wasn't it?
Yeah, well,
he didn't die on the
you
cross.
Could talk about that all day. Just that, the symbolism of Christ's death.
Do you think he actually existed?
Yeah,
My father was a reverend, by the way.
Okay.
He had a moment of ecstasy, similar to yours, where he used to be a Mason, which I found nothing wrong with that. I found it to be quite intriguing and taught me a lot about the world, not Earth.
Yeah.
Two different things.
Of course.
And I found it to be really enriching. And then he changed after that moment of ecstasy. And I suppose he wanted to defend his family from the world. Be in the world but not be of the world but not in it, or something like that. But you cannot be a fascist of spirit. It drives people the opposite way.
Yeah, and that's why I approach outreach the way I do. Because I don't want to demand people do things. What I want Christians to do is to recognise that the person they're supposed to be following is not about what. When I go into church and hear what they're saying and see what they're doing, it doesn't reflect what Christ was about at all. And
right, he wouldn't
have been all about suppressing cultures because they're not Christian. He would not have been about
That's what I mean. Okay, exactly. Do you find the percentage of vegans to be more Christian than any other faith, or just spiritual?
In fact, it's probably the opposite way.
Right. Okay.
So that's another reason I'm doing this, because very few vegans are Christian, very few, and very few Christians are vegan. And I get it from both sides, really, because a lot of my Christian brothers and sisters don't get that I'm vegan, and a lot of my vegan brothers and sisters don't get that I'm Christian, because they associate Christianity with the church. I don't. I believe in. I have a faith. I do not have a religion. I don't like saying religion, because I don't think I'm religious. I have no problem with Buddhists. I don't have any problem with Jews. I don't have any.
Well, let's come up with a
yeah.
church ourselves then.
You know, a church of love and
The
peace.
church of a natural God.
Every faith has the golden rule, doesn't it?
Of course.
And, you know, and whether it's Hopi Indians, every single faith has the golden rule.
Let's start a church, man.
Yeah.
Let's start our own church,
I
a
like
free
that.
church of the natural God.
I'm all in favour of that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that way you don't have to worry about, you don't become,
Labels.
yeah, if I have a beer, it doesn't mean that I don't have faith.
Absolutely not.
It just means that I'm on a liquid frequency for a little while. And it's
Listen, one of my favourite artists. I went to see Maccabee in Camden the other week.
Okay.
And he has a proclivity for a special kind of herb.
Oh yes, indeed. I have some in my pocket right now. I'm a green man.
And yeah,
I'm vegan when it comes to.
But he's a vegan, and he has all these.
Oh.
He has a beautiful spirit about him, and I love Maccabee.
Okay.
But he likes a herb. It doesn't make him any less of a good person.
I think that's the thing, the frequency acceptance. I think that's what it is. People tend to. I'm a musician.
Okay.
So I mess with frequency all the time and amplitude, and I find that people are more amplitude oriented than frequency oriented. They tend to not understand their own amplitude, so they get held down all week, and then by the weekend they are boom, and it's like, wait a minute, is that down to you not eating right? Part of it is. They will just have whatever is in front of them. They're not educated in nutrition.
Convenience, not quality.
Education is deplorable right now. Ultra vegan.
Yeah, James
Wow.
was. Yeah.
Exactly. So they were more considering bringing the matrix of the mind into body.
Isn't that interesting that James, Jesus' brother, was a vegan? Tend to be, you are what your family raised you to be. There's not one example in the Bible of Jesus eating flesh, apart
course
from
not.
after he's died. He's brought back, someone feeds him some broiled fish to prove that he's back in existence, but that's to prove he's in existence to then doubters, not to show he's not ghost form. It's
Right.
nothing to do with the food, it's everything to do with showing he's there physically. But that's the only example in the whole of the Bible where he eats anything that is non-vegan. Now, as we all know, James was a vegan, he's his brother. It makes total sense to me that Jesus would have been brought up that way as well.
Absolutely, and also it helps the body. I don't. Sometimes I will just have I will have no flesh for moments, and I also do a thing of a practice of a feast of silence. I don't speak for like a month.
Okay.
It
James Ashby did that. He did it for a year.
it makes you the eye of the hurricane in every sense of the word. And now you don't even have to speak. Text, email, done. Writing, you can go, here you go. And some places I've done that, people thought I was mute, that I could not speak. Quite interesting
Powerful.
perception. Yeah, very powerful. I found it to be the most powerful thing, the way of this great science fiction series, Star Trek.
Okay, yeah.
Star Trek was about the evolution of the human race.
I loved The Voyage Home. That was my favourite one because that's quite a powerful environmental message about that, and the whales, and you know.
Yeah, exactly. They're like organic spaceships. Whales are.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can carry things.
Without them, the world is doomed.
Yeah, and bees as well.
Yeah.
The most important.
Well,
the
we're
architect.
in the middle of the sixth mass extinction right now.
It might be us. I think it'll be a large call of us. They're destroying us from the inside.
Pandemic's just the
Vegan
start.
or not,
Yeah.
the chemical warfare that's going on, and trying to stop this from advancing, unfortunately, is on the rise. All the disorders, the pushing of dis-ease, and disorder. It's amazing that people are actually taking it. I don't understand. I think we're waking up, but it's really hard to.
I think a few are waking up, but and they're quite vocal that are waking up, but there's plenty of people who are quite happy to go along with the flow, and that might mean becoming dependent on junk food, on pharmaceuticals,
Absolutely.
on destroying the planet with chemical agriculture.
Bowie had it in
Building
that song.
over everything. We need houses, we've got to build on the land, and then the floods come because there's no floodplain anymore, because there's no soak. And why are they doing this?
Well, you can't eat gold.
You can't.
This is the problem.
Midas.
The Midas curse is upon us. And also, I'm writing a thing called The Godless Territories.
Mhm.
And it's about mankind's marriage to velocity without control, which is, in the theory of parentheses, an accident waiting to happen. So we will be the ones that go almost extinct. If there's two of us, we're good to go. It's a male and a female. But now, we are slaves to choice.
Yeah, and yet,
Telling children that they can choose what they are before they even understand what
choice,
they
though.
are. Exactly. False prophet.
When people talk about,
If you talk about the Bible,
Yeah.
false prophets everywhere.
yeah, and when you look at diversity, and people talk about the diversity of life on the planet, 80% of all animals in the world are being farmed for us to eat. Another 10% are done at human, which leaves 10% as wild animals. That is a shocking statistic. So where's the diversity there?
I wonder about the acceptance of homogeny. That's also got me a bit upset. Where are all the individuals?
Yeah.
Where are they? I want to see them. What? They are hurled away into stardom, and they become these vicarious posts where people can live through. Is that what's going on? Types. That's fame.
Yeah,
I'm worried about that. The homogeny disease is bothering me.
Well, you're a musician. Look at music.
Low information transfer right now.
Yeah,
That's what it is. All this auto fix and auto this and auto that. We don't even have any real players much anymore.
Yeah.
That has got something to do with the diet as well, because you can't create on a dull brain.
Yeah.
If you want a bunch of zombies with dull brains, then yeah, of course.
Fill them with processed food and red meat, which
You'll be shooting up on everything. Tomorrow's never there. Beware, the South is yours. In 1984. Come on. That's what we're living right now. Orwell, they were right. They knew what was happening.
Orwell and Kubrick.
Going to the place of infinite intelligence, just like Philip K. Dick did to save his son's life. We do not get taught to go in there. They hide that. Secret societies tend to hide it now, and all of that. Am I talking too long? I think maybe I am. God, I think we're having too much fun here.
No, it's nice chatting.
Yeah, man, it's wicked. I think. Well, how many
What
other
a
people
beautiful
have?
day to do it, isn't it?
And yeah, exactly. And many people had the guts to sit
You've
down.
had a few, not many. You've had a few, one or two mumbling as they walk past because they don't want to tell you what they really think, but they clearly don't think a positive
It's like
way.
the three-body problem, isn't it? If you read that book, The Three-Body Problem,
I've not, no. Who's that?
it's about an alien race invading Earth. And the aliens, the great thing about them is they're telepathic. Kind of like Tibetan monks. You know, people don't understand that. Their work, they are super vegan. Their work is to be able to project. So when you see one of high ranking walking with people, he's not really there. He's projected himself to a specific group of people so that they see him there. Amazing. And yes, I do believe that you can only do that when you give yourself to.
Exactly.
But you see that.
Exactly.
Okay, good stewards.
Good stewards.
But-
Dominion, right?
But look how he his energy was not of that.
Wasn't displaying
Harsh.
much fruits of the spirit,
It was
it?
harsh.
Yeah.
Okay. If he saw Jesus sitting down with his dreadlocks and his robes
and turning over the
and
tables.
said that to him,
yeah.
okay, maybe you're Jesus right now, and you just said that to the. And we're studs. We are holding up the good Lord, man. Why do you even ask? You know, so rigid.
But he also
And he also saw me sitting there going, yeah, Christ, I love him.
And he doesn't understand the fact that when God granted us dominion, in the very next verse after that, he told us to be vegan. The very next verse, Genesis 1:29, that's after he granted us dominion. But the guy doesn't want to engage with us and find that out. He already knows.
I find, yeah, okay. Damn. Well, you know, there's misunderstanding everywhere, isn't it?
But I just find it interesting when someone comes across who calls himself a Christian with a negative energy and an anger.
That's like a Buddhist who's beating people up, isn't it?
Yeah, which one of the fruits of the spirit does that represent? It's not very Christ-like in its approach.
Oh no, but
Christ was only ever angry when he was turning over the tables at
inside what?
Inside the church, where people were selling birds for, you know.
Hypocrisy he couldn't understand. He suffered fools.
Don't turn my house into a marketplace.
Ooh.
That's what he said.
Ooh. So they shifted it to the body.
Yeah. What's the prime?
They shifted the marketplace to your
who
body.
owns the most land in the UK?
The church. Of course. Of course. Who wouldn't? I mean, well, you and it's harsh. What they believe. I find most of them living in Egypt. You know that joke, right? I find them mostly living in Egypt because of denial.
Very good, very good.
Come on, man.
Yeah,
I may be a
Luxor,
bear when it comes to food, but you know.
Yeah, Luxor is beautiful.
My animal sign in America is an otter.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
that means I love seafood. Mm-hmm. I eat seafood mostly, so I'm pretty gentle on it. I used to hunt elk. That was great, man. You understand life when you bring something down. You do. It's just the same as pulling a root vegetable up out of the ground. You ever heard a vegetable scream?
Nope.
Exactly.
Yeah, so
But once you get into that deep meditation, you will understand that.
Well, but I do understand that a vegetable does not have a central nervous system, so it won't.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not sentient in the same way that an animal is. So
But
if
sentience. That's a large-scale approach to that, isn't it?
Do you know, if
Who's to say?
I've killed animals, as you know, and I've seen the way they respond to death, and it's not a pleasant thing to witness.
In that manner, it's not. The actual inevitability of their. I never hunted with guns.
You're
shot
talking about
with
shooting
arrow.
with a bow and arrow or a gun. It makes no difference really. What I'm talking about is the products people buy in shops are definitely not killed that way.
Yeah, of course. No, yeah. That would make it much better if it was.
Well,
if everybody, most people are fake meat eaters anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
they've never been to an abattoir.
Their prey in the freezer section in Tesco's.
Oh yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
They're apex predators, aren't they?
Oh, exactly. So they eat only because it's in front of them. And if you took them to the abattoir, they would starve.
Well, of course,
Sentience, all that matters. That's quite an interesting statement. So a tree's alive, right?
Trees are alive, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, some of the oldest living things on Earth.
Mushrooms, I think.
Well,
even
I think
before
it's
that.
moss, but I think a moss is probably the oldest. Not moss.
So then,
lichen. That's the oldest living thing in the world. But yeah, mosses, mushrooms, trees, coral reefs.
But
because they're alive doesn't mean they can be harmed in the same way as something with a central nervous system that feels pain.
I think pain. I think the feeling of pain or the sensation of pain is relative. But I would say that I get upset when I see kids breaking branches on trees. Oh my God! I'm like, ouch!
That's a needless
That could
to
be a
do, isn't
guitar,
it?
man.
Yeah, but it's a needless
Or
thing
some
to do.
paper.
So that's what you're upset with. It's just destruction for the sake of it. And that's what's upsetting you. It's not because you think that tree feels pain. It's because you think, what a
I
wasteful
think
thing
the
to
tree
do.
feels pain, my
I'm
friend.
not sure it does, but
But
you
that's
know.
a humanistic
But
point of view.
even
though.
if that were the case,
What kind of meditation do you do? How deep do you go when you meditate? Do you connect with everything?
I try to.
Don't try. Trying implies failure and an acceptance of failure.
Not necessarily. I mean, some days it seems to go deeper than others. So I might, when I say try, I mean some days I might be in a deep state and it's quite shallow. It's what I'm experiencing can be quite shallow. Other days it can be incredibly deep. Like I remember one time I was sort of drifting through a rainforest and along with the birds and the rest of the creation around me. Other times I've had really shallow experiences. So
Yeah, okay. I kind of tend to want to make it portable, and I carry it with me. I'm meditating right now.
Okay, cool. But see, what I'm saying about the pain and stuff with plants and plant life is if that were the case, and I'm not discounting it, if that were the case, then it's another reason that people ought to think about going vegan, because the amount of plant life that is killed in order to provide, I'm not talking about your hunting again, I'm talking about
A
animal
population.
agriculture, in order to feed, for example, all the cows in the world, places like the Amazon are being torn down.
Yes,
in
that's
order
true.
to
Yeah, for
produce-
beef. Yeah.
And yes, and they're producing soy to feed the livestock, not to feed me soy milk. It's to get to livestock. So 80%, 80 to 85% of all soy is produced to feed livestock, and they're tearing down rainforests. They're tearing down cancer cures.
Yes,
They're
true,
tearing down,
true,
you
true.
know.
Yeah, but they don't. The medical industry is deplorable.
Yeah, okay.
It does not cure.
No,
It's
it's
much
in
like
their interest
going to
keep
a
us
mechanic.
unhealthy.
Yeah, keep you on the hamster wheel of
Of
sickness.
course, I get that. Yeah.
If it comes to a point where you have to have a certain type of operation, yes, the technology is there.
But we've lost all our naturopaths.
Oh yeah.
People
Oh,
have lost touch because most of what they worked with is not available anymore.
priced out.
And then they were burned as witches by the church.
Oh,
They were-
right. So where is where is that? What's
So what's
the deal
that got
with
to do
that?
with Christ? It's got
Yeah,
nothing to do with
man.
Christ, has it? It's to do with the power of the church.
That's right. He was a sorcerer himself. He understood the moving of the energy through the body. That's sorcery. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with calling it that either. I find that people say, "Oh, angelic is beautiful." No, angelic is an office, not a nature. You can have an angel with a demonic nature.
You have an avenging angel.
That's right, and it doesn't even care. It wants to prove that are you worth what you are? That's the thing. And I find that when you meditate deeply, you realize that you are a plant. Your nervous system looks like a root system for mycelium and trees. So yes, mushrooms scream when you pull them out of the ground. Trees cry when you cut them. Grass hurts like bamboo when it's broken. Yeah, we're all together. I think we need to understand that. And once we understand that, then the movement will get stronger. And it will be a wave that hits. And then once it hits the shore, it will wash all the stuff away.
When we need it to.
Maybe I should end on that fantastic
Yeah, we need it.
statement.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time.
Oh man,
Ian.
brother,
Absolute
I love
pleasure
having a
talking
good.
to you.
I love a good conversation,
Yeah,
man.
hopefully we'll